Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into today's video. So you guys, welcome to episode 1 of 5 Days of Christmas Nails for 2024. And today we're going to be doing something that's not super difficult. We're going to be keeping it kind of chill for today. This is a pretty good nail set for those of you who are not necessarily beginner, but also not a pro either. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So as always, I'm going to be starting out with a little bit of prep work. And because I've been doing my nails back to back, I don't really need to groom them too much because my cuticles and my nails are already situated. So I'm going to go straight in with my peel off base coat. And the first thing I like to do is just apply a little bit of cuticle oil to the surface of my nails. And then I like to go in with 2 layers of my peel it off base coat from Macart. And the reason I do 2 layers is because I do use acrylic, so I like to be extra careful and just play it safe. And I'm going to cure each layer for a full 60 seconds. So the nails are ready for extensions, so I'm going to go ahead and size out all of my nail tips for today. And these nails are going to be pretty short, at least short for me. And because these are going to be short, I'm not going to use my long nail tips for today because I don't want to be wasteful. So I'm just going to size them out and make sure that they fit sidewall to sidewall. And as always, because I'm working on top of a peel-off base coat, I'm going to use a regular base coat to go ahead and cure these on. And for anyone wondering as to why I do that, I do find that regular nail glue does not really stick that well to my peel-off base coat. So I find that the base coat just adheres the nails a lot better without them popping off. So the nail tips are on and I'm going to go ahead and just cut them down a little bit. And as I did mention earlier, these nails are going to be kind of short, at least in my opinion. Like for me, I would describe this as short, but I feel like for the regular person, this would be a good medium, maybe leaning more towards medium long. And yeah, here is what the nails are looking like. And now we're ready to move on to the application. So for today, we're keeping it pretty simple. It's going to be a completely milk white base. And I'm going to be pairing this Mia Secret Frosted Pink acrylic with my Young Nails monomer, and that was a little bit of a tongue twister. I don't know if you could tell, but anyway, I'm going to be pairing these two together. I don't really use Mia Secret products that much anymore. If anything, I might use their clear, but even still, I would rather use Young Nails clear because I find that Mia Secret products just dry so quickly, and I was having a couple of issues with it just drying very, very fast. Like I typically don't have issues like this when I use other products, so I will try to leave some good substitutes for a good milk white in my description box, and I will try my hardest to find one on Amazon that isn't this one. If I can find one from Macart or even Young Nails, I will make sure to have it in my storefront. You can find it in my description box. But yes, we are getting on to this application, and as you can see, we are using a pretty small brush for today. Usually I like to use my size 18 brush, but your girl is tired, okay? She is tired of me just working her, and I didn't have enough time to clean my brush, and she was a little bit gunked up before I started filming. So I started off by using my size 14, I believe, but y'all, it just didn't feel right. It did not feel right. I had to switch back to my size 18, and I don't know what it is, but it's like if you start using a certain size for so long, it just becomes so difficult to go back to where you came from. Like if I were to try and use a size 12 today, I would probably have the hardest time like just making it work for me. I don't know. I feel like using a bigger brush is just so much more comfortable for me now, and I'm able to actually get my application done a lot sooner. But even still today, my application took me a little bit of a good while because again, it was just drying so fast and I was having a difficult time. So if my application looks kind of trash, that's why. Now, just a bit of a disclaimer for anyone who doesn't know, as you can see, my pinky nail is completely bare for now. And the reason for that is because I'm currently not working on top of it, and I probably won't for a very long time. That is because I'm currently taking a treatment for my nail fungus on that pinky. And that's why it looks so short and kind of just weird. I actually got a comment the other day asking me what happened to it, but they were asking in like the most rude way. And honestly, I think it's like genuinely funny because people get really worked up by how ugly my pinky is, and I'm just like, is it really affecting your life that much to the point where you're disgusted? I don't know. I just feel like maybe we're overreacting, guys. Like maybe we're missing the plot. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm at a point where I just don't really care about how people feel about my pinky, especially if there's nothing I can really do about that. Like if it bothers you that much, then maybe don't watch. You know, that may be, you know, a bit of a reach, but like maybe don't watch, you know? But luckily for me, like there's not a lot of that, you know, like most people are super respectful about it. And I know that a lot of people won't really understand the depth of something like that because a lot of people assume that, you know, nail fungus and stuff like that is just a cosmetic issue. But honestly, for some people, it can be a lot more traumatizing than you may think. And as someone who's had this issue since I was about 9 or 10, it doesn't really bother me as much because kids are a lot worse than adults. So yeah, it doesn't bother me when people come on here and they be rude about it, or, you know, they like to make generalizations that aren't necessarily true, or they just like to be ignorant. It doesn't really bother me because, you know, I don't know them. So, but if you do happen to come across someone, and this is for the people who are a little bit judgmental, if you happen to come across another nail tech or even the client of a nail tech who is dealing with some issues with their nails, maybe just be a little bit more thoughtful because you really just don't know people's backstories and how they got to where they are. So yeah, I don't know. This is not supposed to be a lecture, so let me be quiet. It's so weird though, because I remember when people used to ask me what happened to my nails when I first started my channel, I used to get really nervous and kind of like defensive a little bit. But now it's like, even when people are being rude about it, I literally just don't even care. Like I just pay it no mind. So yeah, that's what's going on. So typically what I do with that nail is I will just actually do a quick little press on, and then for the photos at the end, I will just attach it with a sticky tab, and that just helps to reduce the amount of tension and damage. So it definitely is a good workaround for me, because if my dermatologist told me that I couldn't do anything on top of my nails, I would die. So yeah, I find that this is a good workaround, but honestly, it's so exhausting. It's so annoying. But anyway, I don't even know if at this point she's getting any better. I know that the results can take a very long time to show, but I am crossing my fingers and hoping for the best because I'm kind of over this. Like, I'm over it. I'm ready to move on and just have a healthy pinky nail. Oh, also, I wanted to disclaim that if my voice has been sounding kind of raspy lately, it's because my vocal cords are really just tired of me. Like, I've been recording pretty much almost every other day for the past maybe week, and it's been really great because I really do love being consistent and like keeping up and making sure that you guys are getting something good at least once a week. But because I didn't have time to like actually pre-record this year for 5 days of Christmas, I'm kind of doing these all back to back. So I'm actually recording this on the 16th, but you guys won't be seeing this until the 21st. So I'm going to be busy for the remainder of this week, and I'm a little bit scared and kind of like, girl, what did I get myself into? But we're gonna figure it out. So yeah, I apologize if I sound kind of hoarse, just trying to work through everything and keep up with my promises. You know, like, I don't want to not give you guys 5 days of Christmas because that just doesn't feel right, you know? And this is like something that I want to do every year, and hopefully next year we can be better with this and actually pre-record. But even still, I have some really good ideas for this year, and I'm very excited to show you. They might be a little bit difficult, so we will see how this all goes. But we are starting with something simple today, and I think my next nail set is also going to be pretty beginner friendly. That one's probably going to be more suitable for beginners. And yeah, I'm just very excited. I'm burnt out and stressed, but I'm excited. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the application and stop talking because, like, you guys already know I can kind of be a little bit of a yapper. So, you know, my bad. But yeah, we just have the thumbnail left, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the pinky as well. And then we will come back to go ahead and shape and file these nails. So we're ready to shape and file these nails, and the first thing I'm going to do is take my 8080 grit nail file from Pana, and I'm just going to file the sidewalls and undersides of these nails. And typically here I don't have too much to do because during my application I do like to make sure to clean up the sides as I go. This just helps to shorten the filing process because if it's really lumpy it can start to take up a lot of time. And after I did these sidewalls and undersides, I'm going to file over the surface of the nail and just get rid of any imperfections. I also just like to make sure that the nail is nice and round. So typically what I mean by that is when you look down the barrel of your nail, it should be nice and curved, and I like to make sure that that curve is nice and consistent all the way through. Next, I'm going to follow that up by using my carbide bit around my cuticle area, and I do like to use this time to help seal the cuticles a little bit further and correct my apex. Now, I have to be super careful around my cuticle area when I'm working with this bit because it doesn't have any safety or anything to protect your skin and the base of your nails. So you really want to make sure that you're staying on top of the extension product and not your actual nails. Now, this is a problem that I typically run into, especially because I'm very particular about my cuticle area. I like to make sure that it's super flush, and a lot of times I find that I can go so hard that I start giving myself rings of fire, which is definitely not good. So do make sure to be very careful, and if needed, you can always use a carbide bit that's also a safety bit at the same time. So those bits are typically curved at the top, and that just makes sure that you're not snagging your skin or causing rings of fire and damage. And with that being said, you can still get damage and rings of fire using a safety bit, but the regular carbide bits are a lot easier to cause damage, especially if you are a beginner. So yeah, I'm just going to focus this around my cuticle area and my apex, just getting rid of all of those lumps and bumps from this fast drying acrylic. And just for reference, I do like to use this at about 8,000 to 10,000 RPMs. And because I forgot to do this earlier, I'm going to go ahead and file the tips of my nails. And usually I like to file them at an upwards angle just to give them a slight curve. It's not super curved, but it's enough to kind of make it look a little bit more defined and crispy. And lastly, I'm going to use that carbide bit again to thin out the free edge of this nail. This is really just an illusion, and it helps to give it a crispier effect. And I like doing this because rather than thinning out the entirety of the nail, again, it's really just that illusion of a thinner nail while maintaining that structural strength. Now, I like to go pretty thin, but you don't want to go super thin to the point where they start breaking. So definitely don't go overboard. You do want to maintain just a little bit of thickness. And lastly, I'm just going to graze over the surface using the same carbide bit to help remove the scratches. So now we're onto the nail art, and the first thing I'm going to do is just clean off my nails with a little bit of alcohol. So for today, we're going to be keeping it pretty simple. The majority of this nail set is really just French tips. So yeah, I'm going to start out by drawing a white French tip on my pointer nail. I'm also going to be doing that on my middle finger, my thumb, and my pinky nail. The only one that's not a French tip is, of course, the ring finger. That one's going to be a bow nail. So yeah, I'm just going ahead and drawing those French tips. And as you can see, I am using a long liner brush to help give me a little bit of stability. And even still, my French tips were looking kind of crazy today. Like, it was really difficult for me to get a clean line. One, I was pretty tired, and two, I was kind of like jamming out a little bit. I was listening to some Brent Faiyaz. Now here's the thing. Okay, I don't usually like to listen to too much music while I'm working, especially if I'm doing something that requires as much attention as a French tip. But again, I was tired and I just needed something to like get me going. But I don't think Brent Faiyaz was the right choice for that. So yeah, it was kind of difficult, especially on my middle finger. Also, let me know if there are any like Brent Faiyaz listeners in the comments. Like, are y'all toxic too? Let me know. I'm just kidding, kind of. Just a little bit. And if you are a fan of Brent Faiyaz and his music, let me know how you guys have been feeling about his recent music drops, because I don't really know how I'm feeling about it. Like, I feel like I'm a classic girly. Like, I love anything from like Sonder Son. Like, I miss the era of like Sonder Son and Sonder like period. Like, even though there's still like Sonder songs coming out, it just doesn't have the same effect. Like, give me like Care, give me like One Unread. Like, girl, like, I don't know what's going on. And I don't know if maybe this is just like a thing that happens with artists who become more mainstream. I just feel like their music doesn't feel the same. I don't know. And of course, I think he definitely deserves his flowers, but I don't know what happened to his music recently. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. Like, I don't know what he was going through when he made Saunders on, but like, you gotta channel that energy, babes, because literally every song on that album is a banger. Okay, every single song. But anyways, yeah, if you are a fan of Brent, let me know what your favorite song is. I would say my top like 5 right now would be DSN, Missing Out, definitely One Unread. That's always going to be my like top 5. Indonesian Fantasies, which is a little bit newer. And lastly, All I Want is one of my favorite songs of all time from him. But yeah, let me know what your favorite Brent and Sonder songs are if you are a Brent and Sonder listener. It's so weird though, because everyone assumes that if you listen to certain artists, especially artists like him, they assume that you're like also problematic and a terrible person and like you treat all your partners wrong. And I don't know, I usually don't believe people when they say stuff like that. But when it comes to like Brent Faiyaz or The Weeknd, it might be slightly true. Just a little bit. Am I wrong for that? I don't know. But yeah, anyways, I was just like jamming out and I was kind of having a hard time with this nail art period. Not even just the French tips, but even the fact that I couldn't really see what I was doing, because usually when I film my videos nowadays, I'm kind of looking at my nails and also looking at my nails through the camera. And for whatever reason, I just feel like the lighting was not working today because these nails are so white. So it was just really giving washed out mess. Like, I don't know what was going on. So hopefully it doesn't look too bad. I hope that it's not too ugly to look at. I tried to save it and mess with the colors and the sharpness a little bit so that I could be easier to see. So we talked our way through the French tip and the bow nail, and now we're going to start gluing on some of these nail charms. And I actually filmed all 3 nails for this, but I don't know what happened to the footage for the first 2 nails, so I'm just going to show you on the thumb. And this is where I feel like this nail kind of stops being beginner friendly, because this was kind of tedious. So basically I'm just doing a simple, I guess, border of rhinestones around the cuticle area. And this part wasn't super bad, obviously, but I ended up bordering these with some small metal beads, and these were pretty difficult to get in place. So I actually spent a lot of time just moving these around, and I wanted these to be pretty close to my cuticle area. Now, I do believe that they sell something like this on Shein, where it's just one big piece, kind of like a sticker, but I try not to do too many things from Shein because it can take a long time to get to you. So yeah, I will try and find something kind of like this to make the process a little bit easier. But yeah, I feel like the rhinestone placement really made these nails super fancy looking and glamorous, and I really do like the overall feel of it. It just feels so simple yet extra at the same time, you know? And even though it's pretty simple, I do feel like it really helped to make this nail set pop. So after I did those gems, I'm just gonna go over these nails with a single layer of matte top coat. And this is the first time I've done matte nails in a very, very long time. You guys know me, I don't really like doing matte nails. And when I do, I always feel like it never really works out. Like it just looks kind of ugly. But I think it actually looked really good today. And I'm basically gonna be doing the layer of matte top coat now. We have a little bit more nail art to go, but we will get to that when it comes up. So now we're getting into the last bit of the gel nail art, and we're going to be doing some snowflakes. So these snowflakes are pretty similar to the ones I did in the blue nail set I did 2 uploads ago. And I decided I wanted to do these because I feel like they looked a little bit more intricate and just brought this nail set to life. However, I will say you can definitely do the simple dotted snowflake method that I did in my last video, which if you haven't seen those 2 videos, I'll put them in a cards above for you to check out. But yeah, I wanted these ones to be a little bit more intricate, and they're not as intricate as the blue ones, but they are a lot more tedious than the ones I did in my last video. So definitely feel free to do whichever snowflake method you feel comfortable with. It's honestly up to you. So to finish off the snowflake, I'm going to be pouring some of that same milky white acrylic powder on top of this. And I always say this, but you want to make sure to keep pouring until it is completely matte. Otherwise, you can kind of be left with something that looks kind of gummy and not as matte as you would like it to be. So here's what all the snowflakes are looking like on the other nails. And I also went ahead and did my pinky nail. And here's what everything is looking like all together. Super, super cute. And the last thing we're gonna do is just glue on that little bow. I wanted to wait until the end because I really did not want to get this wet because I did have to wash my hands before I just put everything together. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. And lastly, I'm finishing this off with some cuticle oil. And that completes today's set. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this one. I haven't done something this white in a very, very long time, but I really enjoyed it because it was pretty simple and laid back. And I feel like I want to get more into doing this winter season. It was just really nice to do something that wasn't too strenuous. And I really do hope that if you are someone who's kind of in between beginner and I guess experienced, that this is a good nail set for you. And also if you are a beginner, I would definitely say give this a go. I definitely think that this can be achieved, but I really do love this nail set. It's super, super simple and classy, and I really do love that little bow. I think it's so, so cute. If I were to put this nail set on a scale of 1 to 10, this definitely gives me 9 out of 10. I think if I wanted to make this nail set pop even more, I could have gone over those snowflakes with some glitter, but I wanted to keep it nice and simple and not overcomplicate things. So definitely give me your ratings down below and let me know what you guys think. I really do hope that you guys enjoyed the first episode of 5 Days of Christmas for 2024. But as always, I want to say thank you guys so, so much for tuning in today, and I will see you guys in the next one.